Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In the past, I've been doing two different videos for like previous month wrap-ups and then current month TBRs, but I think going forward I'm going to be combining those into one video, so I'm starting today's video off doing that. So first, let's go over everything I read in January. January was a slow month for me. I've kind of been in this weird reading slump since like mid-November, so I'm trying to crawl my way back out of it, but I did read two books. The first one was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and that I did on audiobook. This one was okay for me. I know it's like a classic-ish, but I find it kind of boring for most of it until like the very end when like all hell breaks loose, and then it was interesting, but I don't know, I kind of found myself like struggling to slog through a lot of the stuff at the beginning, so it's not a bad book. I think that's just like my personal taste. And then for my second book was actually a reread, and it was of a comic book, and that was Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. I was reviewing this over on my other channel, the BS Review, with my husband, and so I went ahead and reread it. He had never read it before, so we decided before doing a review we were going to both read through it. And on a second read, it's still great. I've raved about this in a couple videos. I still rave about it. I am so excited to continue this series. And I just highly recommend it if you enjoy any type of like fantasy or sci-fi or comic books. So now let's get into everything that I plan on reading in February. I do have a couple different categories of books in here. If you've watched my 2018 goals or I think it was my January TBR, I talk about like how I break down what I'm going to read for the month. So first category is book to movie adaptations. So anything that's coming out in March, I want to read in February. And I only have two that are in that category for this month. And the first one is Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. The book is being adapted into a movie called Love, Simon that comes out in March, and it looks wonderful and I really want to see it. So I really want to read the book first, and I'm actually about to start this one in probably a day or two. That's the plan. The second book to movie adaptation I want to read, I'm waiting to get it from the library, so I don't have a physical copy right now, but that is Red Sparrow. This movie is going to be starring Jennifer Lawrence, and she is like a Russian spy who is basically kind of sold into being a spy, something along those lines. It's kind of like Black Widow, but without the superhero aspect, from what I understand. And the movie looks interesting. I'm a little skeptical, but optimistic. I'm skeptically optimistic about this one, so we'll see. I want to read the book. It's got decent reviews. And then for my next category of books is actually one I didn't discuss in my previous videos talking about this whole process, and that is a buddy read. So I have only done a handful of buddy reads since I started like getting into book blogging and booktube. But I do have a good friend who is a book blogger. We both got to know each other back when I was blogging, and we both wanted to read through a Colleen Hoover book. So we decided to read through It Ends With Us in February, and at this point, we're about halfway through February. I'm getting to this video a little late, but I've already finished this with her. I'm buddy reading it with Misty. I don't think I mentioned that. I will link her blog down below. She's great. Go check her out. But I'm going to save my thoughts for this one in my wrap-up, so, or you can go check out my Goodreads for my star rating, but I don't have a written review up on it, just a star rating, so if you're curious, go check out my Goodreads. My next book, I'm also doing a buddy read, and it is also a reread for me. This is another one that I'm doing with my husband. This is Ready Player One. I did this on audiobook, I think, last year, or 2016. It was 2016 or 2017. But we are doing a series of videos leading up to the movie, so we're going to review the book, do a reading vlog, and then review the movie, so I want to reread it before we do all that. So this is next up on the list. I'm also interested to see how I feel about this not in audiobook form. I think it's interesting to do a book in one format and then reread it in a different format. I don't know if I've done that before. I don't think I've ever done that before, done like audio and then physical, or physical then audio, so we'll see if that changes my perspective on anything. Next up is the book that kicked off my reading slump in November, and I am still trying to get through it. At this point, I have 30 pages left. I am almost done. And it's not because it's boring, it's just dense, and that is Lord of the Rings. I'm reading through Fellowship of the Ring. This is a 50th anniversary edition, so it's got all 3 books in it. I'm just reading through the first one. It stops right here. But yeah, I don't know, I was kind of getting into a slump already, and then I picked up this one, which just like sunk me deeper into the slump. So I'm trying to get out of it. But I'm excited to finish this one. First half's a little like, eh. It's slow. It just is. There's a lot of walking. And then the second half has gotten a lot more interesting, so I've been blowing through the second half a lot quicker than the first half. So look for my thoughts on this one in my February wrap-up. The last book category I have for this month is my TBR clean out. This is a project that was inspired by Books and Lala here on YouTube, where she did a closet clean out of all of her to be read books. I am doing a kind of Goodreads TBR clean out. So the rules are whatever was added to my TBR on Goodreads 3 years ago, so that would be February of 2015, I need to read by the end of February 2018. I do get a couple of saves, so I get one series and one standalone save only per month. And basically the way I do that is I just exit it out of my Goodreads and then I re-add it so it has a new added date. I only have 2 books on my TBR clean out for the month of February, and both of them are standalone. So since I only get one standalone and one series save, I still have to read one of these standalones, even though it's only 2 books and I get 2 saves. They're not in the same category. So for this, I do have to read at least one. I can only give myself 1 save. So the first one is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I've been wanting to read this for a while. I have this really beat up library copy that I picked up at a library sale a while ago. I think this is going to be my save for the month because I really want to read this one. And that is The Handmaid's Tale. And I know the basis of this, but I haven't watched the show or anything because I've really been wanting to read the book first. So, and with the second season coming out soon, is it a couple months? I'm not sure. It comes out in the near future, so I really want to watch the first season before the second season comes out, and before I can do all of that, I gotta read the book. So that's my plan, is to read this one and save this one. Alright guys, that wraps up today's video. Let me know if you're reading any of the books that I plan on reading and what you thought of them. Obviously, keep it spoiler free. And link me to any of your TBRs that you have for February. I want to check them out, whether they're in blog or video form. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. It lets me know that you guys want to see more of these types of videos. And if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. I would love to have you join the Bookish Beauty family. And as always, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!